And welcome, food travelers, to another episode here in Dallas, Fort Worth. In this episode, we're going to visit Dimassi's Mediterranean Buffet. It's my first time here to this buffet, and I believe this buffet, Dimassi's, they actually have multiple locations within Dallas and one location in California from what I saw on their website. And at the time of recording, they are open daily. Mondays to Sundays, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And for the pricing, it is around, I think, $16.99 for, I think, lunchtime. And for evenings was $18.99. And weekend pricing is $21.99.
Yeah, we actually did come in pretty early, right at when they opened, and that was about 11 a.m. So we were there pretty early. And so as you can see in the video, it wasn't too full at the times, which is nice at times because you get to go pick anything you want right away, which I always enjoy doing. But it's also nice because during this time we usually, as we make trips down to Texas, our main goal is usually barbecue, so it was kind of nice to kind of have a change of pace here and try something different, especially Mediterranean food, because up in the Northwest there is some local places that I do enjoy eating that I've had that are Mediterranean food as well, and so it was just kind of nice to kind of see something a little different than what we usually do down in Texas.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with Simon there. Having barbecue for so many days is nice, but at the same time is you kind of feel barbecued out. So having like a change of pace, having different type of food, I guess, to eat and choose from, and having, I guess, more vegetables because we load ourselves up so much with just meat. And then, so having that vegetable is really nice to have. And one thing I really enjoy coming to buffets early is I kind of feel like the food is more fresh. Like they just prepared it for the day, so then everything is there. It's just fresh. It's just made right then, and then it's kind of like going to a restaurant and they're made to order.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and you'll see in the video a little bit later. And you actually saw a little bit of the flatbreads, which I thought was really good. And they cooked that pretty much there in the kitchen. And you'll see some shots that we had of them making the flatbread. That was really nice. And you can tell it was fresh. And it had a nice, just a fresh feeling to it where you would tear the bread open and it didn't have that dryness to it. You could tell there was some moisture still in there, but very light and fluffy. That was really good. I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, so another thing I did want to mention is as you're entering this restaurant, you kind of sit wherever you want and then start ordering your food. You don't pay until you're leaving the restaurant. I think they do this so that if you don't finish your portion or you grab way too much food, then they will charge you the difference for that.
Yeah, when I was looking at it, I don't know, I didn't see anything about that, but they were pretty good. We had the servers come through, the cleaners, and they would pick up the plates. And I remember some of our plates actually did have some items still left over. Not like a ton, but it wasn't like you kind of eat something and it's not quite to your flavor, and so you're liking, and then you'd kind of just leave it on the plate. And they didn't have any issues with that, so I don't think they're strict in that terms of you have anything left on your plate, then they're going to charge you something extra. It wasn't like that at all. It was more like, I guess if you just like loaded up and you didn't even touch it, then maybe something they might, talk with you about that. But in this case, no, we pretty much ate everything we had, so there wasn't much an issue. And the things that we didn't like, at least some of the food items that weren't to my liking, I did leave it on my plate, and they cleaned the plate, the table off, and reset everything without any issues.
So one thing I did notice is also in the entrance area, they did have like, I guess, boxes, so you could order to or get more food to go. I guess that's probably why they have it there as you're leaving to pay, so that if you wanted to bring something back for your family or something later in the day, that's what it's for.
Yeah, and then some of the things, like one of the things I actually really like chickpeas, and so those were probably one of my favorite foods to eat, especially Mediterranean type foods, is the chickpeas, and hummus as well, which is also made from the chickpeas. So being able to try the different hummuses that they had over there, which was really nice. And some of the things that I kind of really noticed was the different drinks that we did have. There were a couple of drinks that I've actually never really drank before, and so I was surprised, and I was actually glad. And that's I think we've mentioned this before. One of the things that are nice about buffets is you kind of run into things that you aren't sure about, and you would be interested to try if you had run into them, but you don't want to, spend a whole bunch just to try something and then find out that you don't like it. And with buffets, you get that option to actually try certain things and then figure out, if it's really good or not.
Yeah, definitely. So with as you saw in the video, I got the rose water. That was something I was unsure about. I didn't know what rose water is. I don't even know what roses taste like. It was actually pretty refreshing. It was nice, cool. I don't know how to describe the flavor. I guess it tastes like roses. I guess that's what roses would taste like. Yeah, it was pretty. It wasn't overly sweet, but it was like just the right amount of sweetness to the, I guess, the water. As you would say it. Yeah, it was good. It was hot day, so it was nice and refreshing.
Yeah, and right next to the rose water, there was another drink, and I believe it's called the Tamir Hindi. And I was kind of looking at that one. It has kind of this light brown color to it, and I really wasn't sure because I've actually never heard of that. And I was really curious about what it tasted like. It was another drink, as I mentioned. It was right next to the rose water, and I did end up going and grabbing some, kind of see what it was. And it was actually pretty good. I was surprised. It was and I'm not so sure how many, or Micah, if you've actually had the tamarind. It has a tamarind flavor, so I have a feeling that it's made from tamarind. If anybody knows if they've had exactly what the Tamir Hindi is, let us know, because it was actually pretty good. It had a little bit more sweetness, I would think, than the rose water, but not too sweet, which was also nice, and a little bit of a tartness to it. So it had a little sweet and tart combination, but it actually was pretty good.
I actually have a different opinion about that. Simon actually poured me a little bit out to try. To me, because after I drank that rose water, it tasted more on the sour side to me. Maybe because the rose water was just too sweet. But moving along here to the dessert section, they have quite a bit of desserts, and there's a lot of desserts I've actually never heard of. The only thing I've ever tried was the baklava, and they had two different types of that too, with also the traditional baklava, and then they also have the creamy style there. I don't think I got both of them. I think I only got one of them, and I really did want to try that jam cookie. It looked really interesting to me, but I remember when I was trying to like poke into it and kind of like trying to break it apart, it was really hard. Like Simon kept saying, "Why don't you just bite into it? Why don't you just bite into it?" But I just want to break it apart.
I remember watching you just looking at, and you're trying to poke it with your fork and kind of crack it or break it open, and split it apart, and it just, every time you kept pushing the fork in, it wouldn't go in. And then I was just saying, like, just pick it up with your fingers and bite it. That would probably be easier.
Yeah, I think one reason why I didn't do that is because I guess there's some sort of like honey glaze or some sort of sugary glaze onto it, so it gets really sticky. So that's probably why I didn't do that. But overall, I did enjoy this buffet. It was reasonably priced. It was definitely very affordable for most families. If you're in the area, definitely try this one.
And to wrap up the episode are our notables. And unfortunately for this episode, we did not have any notables.
And to support our channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. For more photos of food and our travels, follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching.